What's up, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host and DC sports fan, Ben Robertson, and on this page, we break down all the biggest headlines surrounding the Washington Wizards. So, today we have to talk everything NBA Summer League. The rosters are out. Who is on the schedule? What's one thing that caught my eye when I initially saw the roster? And lastly, I'll give you a quick Summer League prediction. So, as always, like and subscribe down below. Drop your comments with any thoughts you might have on the video. You can also hit me over on Twitter at Ben Robertson32 with thoughts, maybe future video ideas as well. As always, I appreciate all of the support, you guys. I've seen a couple of you consistently down there in the comments. I appreciate it all. Let's keep it rolling and let's jump right in today. So, the Summer League roster has dropped. Of course, the NBA 2K26 Summer League in Las Vegas getting started July 10th. There has already been a little bit of action around the league, but the Vegas Summer League gets started July 10th. The Wizards action starts against Phoenix on July 11th, this upcoming Friday. And the Wizards roster was recently released. And one thing, that was pretty big is that some key second year players are all there. Of course, all the first rounders from last year, Alex Sarr, Bob Carrington, Keyshawn George, AJ Johnson, and Dylan Jones, who have we, of course, added. We weren't maybe totally sure if all those second year guys were going to play, but I think it's pretty huge that they are. Obviously have to be really looking forward to seeing the progress that guys like Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington have made in particular. And then if you think about a player like AJ Johnson, this summer league provides really a big opportunity. Think about it. We just added Cam Whitmore, another wing, and for a guy like AJ, this is really a chance for him to show himself, show that he belongs with this group of players and with our young core. Of course, like I said, the roster featuring all 7 first-round picks on the team from the last 2 years' draft classes. And of course, those include Trey Johnson and Will Riley from this year's first round. Of course, you just can't wait to see Trey hit the court for the first time in a Wizards jersey. Can't, define a career we know by summer league performances, but particularly what we've already seen VJ Edgecombe do in Salt Lake City in that event, a big time effort from Trey Johnson obviously is going to have you super fired up and what I think everybody is hoping for. Stay tuned. I may give you a prediction down a little bit later in the video, as you see on the rundown, that Trey, might be included in that quick little teaser. And then lastly, it's a chance for, second rounders, the second rounder and Jameer Watkins, and then a couple of undrafted players as well that are going to be on two-way deals to have a chance to prove themselves, here in the league. We've seen, of course, since the summer league began, so many players sort of put their name on the map and really be able to work themselves onto a regular season roster because of good performances in summer league. We'll get to see Kadari Richmond and Keyshawn Gilbert, a couple of undrafted guys that the Wizards have picked up on 2-year deals for the first time, and we'll find out if they belong. So right now, the Wizards have, when I checked this morning, they were tied for the third best odds, at least on FanDuel, to win the Summer League. I looked on DraftKings and a couple other sites as well. They were a little bit lower, but still all in the top 10 in terms of odds. Everybody sort of has them in the mix. If you're not familiar with the Summer League format, it works like this. Every team plays at least 5 games. There's 4 regular season games, and then the top 4 teams make a semi-final and final playoff. Everyone else gets a 5th consolation game, if you will. So everybody's guaranteed at least 5 games of Summer League action. Of course, this Thursday, July 10th, couple big matchups kicking off things across the league. Mavs taking on the Lakers. You'll see Cooper Flag, Bronny James, Spurs and Sixers. Of course, a couple top 3 picks in that game, and Harper and Edgecombe. For the Wizards, again, we get started with Phoenix on July 11th, this upcoming Friday. Make sure it's marked on your calendar. They'll match up with another first-round pick in Kaman Maluak, on that Phoenix team. Then they'll take Brooklyn on 2 days later, another team that's potentially interesting here in this summer league event. They'll take on Philly, which really I think everybody has that matchup sort of circled, that third game of the summer league, just because VJ Edgecombe over there on the Sixers, two top six draft picks in this year's class, going at it this year. And then lastly, another intriguing matchup, the last one on the current schedule with Utah, and you'll potentially see Ace Bailey in that game if he's playing. And of course, Ace, there was so much made with him pre-draft. Potentially, will he fall here to DC? So it'll be interesting to see those matchups. I think, of course, for Trey Johnson, everybody knows the not pressure, but the focus is on him for a lot of fans. Of course, for the front office here in summer league. And while we've seen great players in the league have bad summer league performances, and you can't define a career on that, like I said before, it's important for Trey to not get too focused on maybe outdueling some of those other high draft picks, I think, in those games. He can't, try to outduel VJ Edgecombe and Ace Bailey and light it up and be better than them. He's just got to play his game. And I think he's plenty good enough if he does that. That he's going to have a pretty good showing here in this year's event. But one thing that caught my eye when I just saw the list of names in the roster that was dropped for the Summer League, there's some players that are bulking up and adding some serious weight to their frames on this roster. Alex Sarr was listed at 225 pounds. He's up 20 pounds from where he was listed last year. That's, of course, huge for Sarr to just fill out his frame a little bit. Of course, it's a big summer league for him. Number 2 overall pick last year, going into year 2. This is, a summer league event that you're hoping he can show he separated himself and really built on what he's done last year. And I think that size is only going to help him both offensively and defensively. He'll be able to hold his ground in the lane a little bit better. And then also while we want to see him shoot a higher percentage when he takes outside jumpers, it might allow him to get inside a little bit more offensively and sort of control his body there. So excited to see Sarr. AJ Johnson also went up. He was listed at 160 last year, which is really just probably too small to be in the NBA, especially at his height. He's up to 174 pounds on that summer league roster. Big for him. Keyshawn George up about 10 pounds, which isn't a huge jump maybe, but just kind of what you're hoping to see from year 1 to year 2. And same with Bub Carrington. He's up about 5 pounds as well. That's something that caught my eye, and I know caught some of the other Wizards fans and the Wizards community's attention as well. There's some of these players going into year 2 starting to add some weight to their frame, and I think that's only going to help. Only a testament as well to our strength department and our development team. So lastly here, I should say, I'll give you a quick prediction from what I'm expecting here this summer league. I'll give you a prediction for the 4 regular season games because, of course, tiebreakers and stuff can sometimes affect and mix up the playoff situation. But I think the Wizards are going to go 3-1. I think Alex Sarr is going to really show what I was talking about earlier. I think he's going to separate himself and show that, coming into year 2, he is ready to go. I think he's going to be one of the best players in Summer League for the action that he plays. And lastly, I think Trey Johnson is going to have one really big game, and I think he's going to have one maybe really tough shooting game. I think he's going to have a game where he goes off, maybe scores 25 points, and then I think he might have like a 3 for 15 type of evening as well. I think that's just sort of how it's going to go for him here in the summer league. Again, not maybe a sign of things forever, but just because of his shooting ability, I think he's going to get hot in one of these games, and then also still just trying to feel his way and find his way in the league. I think one of these games he might struggle just a little bit. Let me know down below what you guys think, what you guys are expecting from the Wizards in this NBA Summer League. I'll keep you posted on everything that they do on the Summer League action, on any moves that might get made from now until then. Remember, Summer League for the Wizards getting started this Friday, July 11th against Phoenix. As always, like and subscribe down below. Drop your comments with any thoughts. And thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wizards Latest.